Welcome to Varsity Voices Football. I'm Jeff DiVeronica. He's James Johnson. Here to talk about the Class C Championship Clash. This is going to be at noon at Rhino Stadium on Saturday, and it's two unbeaten teams playing for a Section 5 brick. Can't get any better than that, right? East Rochester Gananda against Bishop Kearney. I like that, make you laugh. These are teams from Monroe County. They haven't played each other this year. And James, what do you think about the matchup right off the start here?
I think it's going to be very high scoring. I'm curious to see how many defensive stops I'm going to count combined in this game.
Well, they both can score points. We know that. But actually last week, Gananda survived with its defense, 14-8, beating Bath, kind of a revenge game for them over the last couple of years. And Kearney racked up the points, 54-31 over Attica. Let's look at some highlights because they won with defense last week, and that's something they usually do. They usually rely on number 26, Cam Cleveland, running the ball. But their defense came through, James, and I know Coach Greco, Dennis Greco, very happy about that.
Oh, yeah. He's been saying that the Bombers' defense has been coming along, especially forcing turnovers, sort of bending but not breaking. Kearney
racked up the points. Both these teams have feature backs. Cam Cleveland over almost 2,000 yards this season, over 400 or 4,000 yards in his career for East Rochester. We think that's a school record for the program.
62 touchdowns, too.
62 touchdowns. The guy, if he turns the corner, look out. He gets ahead of steam. And, I think I did a story last week on him where Coach Greco was saying that people don't realize how strong he is. Yeah. It's not just his speed. The kid's built.
Yeah, very good baseball player, too. I mean, an athlete, the guy you want on your team.
On the other side, it is Demir Pross, and he is like a water bug out there. He's not as big as Cam Cleveland, but you can't catch him sometimes. Yeah. And you're going to see him zigzag all over the field. He's going to run away from guys. He had 15 carries last week, 223 yards and 2 touchdowns in that big win over Attica. He's our athlete of the week here at DemocratChronicle.com. Tell us about Demir Pross.
Like Cleveland, he's stronger than he looks, very elusive. When he came back this season, Coach Long, he took an assessment on who graduated and said, hey, you're going to have to be our leader. And, while we do like to put the ball up in the air, the foundation of our offense is you carrying the ball, especially between the tackles.
You mentioned Coach Eddie Long. Him and Coach Dennis Greco have a history together. You're going to hear all about that right now as we talk to both coaches in this matchup.
It might not be a 14-8 game. I'd be surprised. 14-8. But we'll see. We scrimmage each other every year. And the other thing people may not remember is that Eddie and I coached the Raiders together. The Rochester Raiders, a professional indoor team. He was one of my assistants on that team. So I know he'll have that team really well prepared. A lot of speed and quickness, outstanding running back, very well coached. So they pose a lot of problems for you preparing for them.
I have a pretty good relationship with Coach Greco. And knowing Coach Greco, any Coach Greco coach team is going to be ready to go. They have a very, very good running back in Cam Cleveland. So we know they lean on them, and we know what we have to do. We know we have to stop the run, and we have to be physical up front because that's what they do. We're going to try to do what we do, and hopefully we can put points on the board. But if we have to get into a defensive battle, we have to step up to that challenge as well. So we can't count on our offense to always bail us out. We have to play defense and make tackles.
One thing we've learned over the years when you talk to coaches, James, is they're not going to tell you everything, right?
No.
So you kind of have to read between the lines a little bit here. And I think you picked up on something on Coach Long. What do you think he thinks is going to be really critical in this matchup?
How many defensive stops he can get. I think that he believes that Kearney will be able to keep pace on the scoreboard as far as touchdowns, scoring. I don't think they have a field goal kicker, by the way. So I think he thinks he can keep pace. Just, will they be able to stop Gananda enough?
You got two teams that like to run the ball. We know that the lefty, the sophomore, Matt LaRocca, can put it up a little bit too. And I'm sure ER can do it, but they want to win this game in the trenches. Yeah. Who has the bigger line, do you think, in this matchup?
I'm not 100% certain, but I'm leaning towards East Rochester Gananda. But Bishop Kearney, Coach Eddie Long, says the strength of his team is the fact that a few of his linemen are 3-year, 4-year starters, or they've been in action for 3 or 4 years. That can be huge in high school football.
And it's certainly in a big matchup like this. Kids have more poise, more calm. They've been in the moment before. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a terrific matchup. Two local teams here for the Class C title. East Rochester Gananda, that combined team against Bishop Kearney. That's going to be a noon kickoff at Rhino Stadium on Saturday for the Class C crown. Thanks for watching us right here at DemocratChronicle.com on Varsity Voices Football.